Keystone Stitcher. Welcome. And we had an influx of new subscribers, so welcome to you. Thank you for subscribing. Today I have 10 projects to show you. I have some purchases. I just have a couple. And I have modified my plans for the month of November. So let's get into what I did. So I continued with the FLOSSTUBER challenge, and that's been very productive. I've had, that's why I have 10 projects. So the first one, so if you're new and you don't know what the FLOSSTUBER challenge is, this was created by Anna, the Alchemist Stitcher. And she, what she has done is she has assigned a whip to a FLOSSTUBER, and each time that FLOSSTUBER posts a video, she then works on that whip. I changed mine a little bit. What I'm doing is I put my projects into a wheel, and because certain FLOSSTUBERs post every single week, and lately some have posted more than once a week, I didn't want to just work on those, and so I put my projects on a wheel. And every time one of my FLOSSTUBERs, and I limited to 6, every time they put up a video, I then spin my wheel and I work on whatever whip it chose. So I currently had, for the month of October, I had 11 projects in my wheel. We're going to get started. This first one is Woodland Santa. And I've loaned the book, I gave the book away. The book has been loaned back to me so I can show you. It came from this Craftways book, which was published in 2015. I've stitched so many things out of this book. This is I probably shouldn't have passed this on, because this has more projects in it, in a book, than I've ever found. And believe it or not, this is the only one back here that I have left to stitch. The ones I've stitched are not on the cover, but that is the book the Santa came from. So this is Woodland Santa, and here is where it is. Excuse the wrinkles, and here's where it is. So let me put a picture below it, I'll put it above, of where it was last time. And so what I've really done is I finished the reds and the golds down here, and I came up here and put a couple of the reds in. You'll see there's some missing stitches. I didn't think I had enough of those. Those will be lighter colors. And I didn't think I had enough to finish a strand, but they're also up here. So I figured I'd do all those at one time. So I'm currently working my way to the top, and then I'll work my way back down on each side. And then from here, this is on a separate page, and when I converted it over to a PDF, I never thought to merge the 2 pages together. So I'll work on that page then last. So that's my Santa. And my next one, no, let's do that. Yes, so my next one, worked on both my Jennifer Taylor pieces. This is Midsummer's Eve. And Jennifer Taylor is charted by Contemporary Cross. This one I put 418 stitches in, bringing this to 9.34%. So what I did is I worked over here, bringing these colors down. And there you go. And so here's where it was. My lighting's going in and out. I'm really sorry about that. I started this on the upper left-hand side. So this is the whole piece, and realized I don't like starting there. I prefer to start on the upper right. So I stitched my way across this year, and now I'm going to work my way back. So that's Midsummer's Eve. The Santa is on an 18 count Antique Blue, I believe it's called, by Zweigart. This is a 20 count. Almost all my fabrics are by Zweigart, unless I say otherwise. This is on a 20 count. And I keep forgetting to mention, I stitch all my pieces 2/1 full cross. unless the chart calls for it. So example, dimensions, when they call for various number of strands, I do what dimensions asks normally. Once they get to, 5 strands and 4 or 5 strands, I may not do that, but I try. Okay, so this next one is Broken Wings. This is artwork by Enys Guerrero, charted by Thread Geeks. I still do that. And here's where I'm at. So last time I told you I'd been working up here, and I picked a color that came here, and then I saw black. So I knew I could work on, I think these are a skirt or a pair of shorts. And so I just continued working on the black. And so here's where that one is. Oops. And this one, this is Enys Guerrero. This one I put in 1,177 stitches. It was called more than once. It was spun more than once. I went from 6.66% to 7.68%. So I put a whole percent in. This is also a 20 count. This is one that I dyed myself. Again, it's Zweigart. I'm not going to say that because they're all Zweigart until I tell you otherwise. Okay, this next one is my hair is driving me crazy today. My other Jennifer Taylor piece, charted by Contemporary Cross. This one I'm also doing on a 20 count so that her pieces, I have 3 or 4 of her Jennifer Taylor pieces, and I wanted them all on 20 counts so the stitches all look the same. Even though this one is long and narrow as opposed to square. But anyway, this is Midsummer's Eve, and here's where I am. I was just picking colors up here and filling in and then bringing them down. And unfortunately my light is blowing this out. I'm not sure how to, you can see the different greens and blues now. But there we go, that's better. That's what it looks like. So here's where it was before. And this one I put in 1,112 stitches, and I'm now at 3.32%. Now most of these I don't want anything lower than 5%. So my goal this year is 5% on that. Okay, so this next one is Death in the Garden. This is artwork by Megan Majewski, charted by UnconventionalXStitch. And she's looking so good. She's looking so good. Look at her. So there's where she is now. So what I did is I came up here and I finished off this page. There's 2 little stitches here, but the color then goes down into this page. And I didn't want to cut a thread for 2 stitches. And then I came down here and tried filling in her face. I'm still missing a few stitches. But let me pull her back and I'll put in a picture of where she was. And this one I added 654 stitches, bringing it to 28.35%. And this one I'd like to reach 30 before the end of the year. So you can see each of my projects has a kind of mini goal that I'm hoping to reach by the end of the year. If I don't, I don't, but so I'm really, next time this comes out, I'm trying to decide, do I want to come up here and work on her face some more, or do I want to come down here and put this next page in? Where do you want me to work? Do you want me to do her face, or do you want me to stick with it and keep working down to fill in her hair? I really want to do her face. Anyway, where do you want to see me move to next on this? You tell me. It could be up at the top, background, just where would you like to see me work next? Okay, next one that was spun was Stone Expression. This is artwork by Guiseppi Miconi, charted by StitchingMoonDesigns. She's still got her shop closed. It'll probably be a little while before her life calms down, but I love his visions. So what did I do this time? This time I started filling in here and working my way up into here. So just trying to fill that in. And let's see, I'm going to move it over because that's the only place that I worked, and I'm going to put a picture in of that area. So this one I put in 707 stitches, bringing it to 38.31%. Now this one I really want to hit 40%. I'm thinking this is not that large. This has just over 90,000 stitches. That if I could get this to 40%, this might be one I could finish next year. That would be really nice. Okay, so another one that I spun was Masquerade. I'm gonna lose these here. This is artwork by Christopher Lavelle. It is, Stone Expressions is on a 20 count even weave by Zweigart. I usually stitch on Aida, but this is an even weave. And I just dyed this myself, so you can see the color. And Death in the Garden, I don't think I told you, that's on an 18 count Very Light Pewter. If I do forget any, I always put a complete description of everything in the description box below, so you can find anything you want down there. So, Masquerade. We're back to Masquerade. This is artwork by Christopher Lavelle, charted by UnconventionalXStitch. I'm removing the background, so this is what it should have looked like, and this is how it will look roughly when I'm done. And so let's see here. This is the entire piece. I'm currently filling in all the 939 to get that outline in, which will help me with removing the background. And as soon as I finish the 939 on this row, then I'm going to go back up and fill in the top, and then I'll do that every couple of rows. I'll fill it in, and then do the 939 and then fill it in. So what did I do this time? So last time I had it in my hoop, I couldn't quite reach this section. So I came across here and I filled in the gap that was there. So when I show you the before here, you can look and see where that went. So this one here, I put a total of 308 stitches, bring it to 86%. And this one is a 16 count. This is my only 16 count that I have a full coverage on at this point. And it was because there's so much confetti in this that anything smaller, it was really hard to get my needle in. But I found that I really liked it because all of these colors and all of the shading really did pop once I put it on 16. They kind of just blended together on 18, and I tried it on both 18 and 20 count, and it just blended together. So I was very, very happy to see how those feathers looked on the 16. So sometimes going with a lower count, larger Aida can get you more detail as opposed to kind of, I know with a lot of, if you put the smaller the fabric normally, you don't have it as pixelated, but in this case, it actually was the opposite. Okay, so this next one, this did not get spun, but this was one that while I was working on a project, which I will show you next, that was frustrating me, I would tell myself, well, if you do so much on this, you can work on something else later. And I usually don't like to work on more than one thing in a day. I am with this FLOSSTUBER challenge. Sometimes I just take a day and go through and do those, and then come back and do my focus piece all by itself. So this is by Starlight. This is charted by UnconventionalXStitch. The artwork is by Deanna Bach Art. It should have looked like this. I'm cutting it in half, I mean exactly 50%, and mine will look like this. So what did I do? I simply came and started filling in any of the colors down here that were missing. There we go. You can see that. So here's where it was before. And this one here, I didn't write down how many stitches I put in, but based on the remaining stitches, I'm doing 61,800 stitches as opposed to 123, I think it was 600, whatever it was. Based on the 61,000, I'm now at 8.12%. So, and this is also on a 20 count. No, this is on 18 count. Sorry about that. So you can see those colors. This is the first tentacle coming in of, or arm, I guess they call them arms, of the squid, the octopus. So. Okay, now we get to my focus pieces. And this first one is the one that was driving me crazy. I'm removing the background on this one. And a lot of people are removing backgrounds lately, and they make it sound so easy. For some projects it is. You can definitely tell what is background and what is the elements that you're keeping in the design. For other projects, it's very hard. This is Brothers. The artwork is Janka Latikova, charted by Thread Geeks. I'm doing this on 18 count, picture this plus fabric called Jade. So, all of the colors that are in this design, so even these blacks, his skin tone, they're in the background. So trying to figure out what is the element, the horse, or what is the man, what is the mane, what is background, it's really hard to determine. So to give you an idea, excuse me, I have something in my eye. To give you an idea, I was working on his elbow here, and then coming over here and trying to pick out and finish some of these pieces of the strands of the mane down here. And now normally I can do between 250 and 300 stitches in an hour, which is why I can get, you know, a good maybe 1,000 done in a day. I usually don't do more than that. But there was so much confetti here and so much time going into trying to figure this out that it felt like it was moving so slowly. I had worked on it for 4 hours, and in 4 hours I should have had 1,000 stitches. I had 286 stitches. So basically I did roughly what I could do in an hour. It took 4 hours on this. So that's why I was frustrated. That's why I needed a little bonus piece. But I love this, and I don't regret. I was thinking last night, I was trying to finish this. I have 202 stitches left, according to my calculations. And I was just burned out. So what have I done? I finished his arm, so he is done. And all of the main pieces over here, you know, the strands of the mane, those are done. Most of his head is done down here. I think there's a couple stitches somewhere, maybe right here. I think there's 2 stitches missing. And I just, when I realized it, I didn't feel like moving my hoop to get to it. So what I did is I came up here, I have finished this ear. I frogged a lot because I started putting in all the 310, the black, and 3371, which is a dark brown, to find out that some of those colors, I thought I was putting in all of the, I was outlining everything. Turns out those colors are also in the background. So I've also been frogging as time goes on, but I'm pretty much up here. I'll bring this in. I have to finish around here, blending this in, and then I have to work right in through here until I figure out where his head ends. And then there are, you can see that's kind of sparse there, and through here. So there'll be a little bit more. This strand here is done. These at the bottom are done, but these in the middle I still have to sort out. So that's Brothers. Hopefully next time you see me, you will, well, my update on the 15th, hopefully this will be done and I can show you all of it. But for right now, I needed to just step back and actually look at it to decide where I was going to stop where background was and where his head still is. So that's Brothers. Yeah, so I started to say, I looked at it last night and I thought, do I regret taking the background out? I don't. I think it looks really good on this fabric. There are still stitches that I may need to pull back out. I probably could have done a little less on his elbow. I maybe didn't need to do this piece here, but I wasn't sure at the time. But again, that was what I did when I thought I was outlining the piece. This piece right here, this black, is actually background, so I'm going to have to decide, do I want to leave that? So once I get everything else done, I will decide, do I need to pull that back out, or does that look good? There are a couple, I'm not sure if you can see, there's a couple of white stitches above his head. I thought that was part of his hair because those colors are also in his hair. Turns out that's background, so I may pull that back out. So yeah, I'm close to finishing the stitching, but then there's an evaluation process I'm going to put into this. So anyway, that's Brothers. And then I have my other focus piece. So these are Brothers, and this piece I would like to finish before the end of the year. And Brothers is so close that yes, I just need to sit down and focus. The other one is Only the Lonely. This is artwork by Adrienne Borda, charted by UnconventionalXStitch. I'm stitching this on an 18 count, just plain white Aida. And here it is. And aren't those colors amazing? I love this piece. I have a real affinity for trees. So what did I do? I finished this page and I came down and started this page. So not a whole lot different. I don't know what I was at. I'm now at 62.68%. And here's where it was before. So this is my main focus piece now going forward until it's done. And this is the very bottom of the design, and I have 2 more pages across. So yeah, and these are small pages. This is not like, I think there's 3,500 in a page up here, and then the bottom page only has 3,000 stitches. So, you can do that rather quickly. If I have the time to do 1,000 stitches in a day, then a bottom page can be done in 3 days. This page can be done in like 4. So that is Only the Lonely. Okay, so now let's move on. Let's talk about purchases. The reason I made a purchase is because I found out that Thread Geeks is retiring its artist. The official announcement, and I'm going to paraphrase here, was that they intended to retire a good number of their pieces in order to, what was the word she used? In other words, she said she wanted to be able to put time in to the projects she was releasing to make sure they were the highest quality. I'm going to call that BS. This is my opinion and my opinion only. I went and I looked to see which artists were being retired. And it turns out all her artists are being retired, except for 2 categories. One is called Witchy Art, and there are no, it's copyright Witchy Art. Now, Witchy Art does not appear to be an artist. It appears to be AI. And the other one is Creative Fabrica. Creative Fabrica is a website where you can download illustrations and images, and you can create your own using AI. So it appears that she's retiring every single artist, because I went to artists and I clicked on each one to see which one of the artists that I liked was being retired, and every single artist is being retired with the exception of those 2 categories, Creative Fabrica and Witchy Art. So I went through my favorites that I had saved from this company, and I started deleting out because I didn't want to buy too many. She has two categories of specials going on. First of all, none of these are being discontinued until December 31st. So starting January 1st, she will only have those two categories unless she's currently working on new ones that will replace, and she will upload them between now and January, or upload all of them in January. So I eliminated out quite a few, but using her sale code, she has a 15% off all kits, and she has a buy four get two free. So basically, you're paying for two and you're getting four. The code for that one, it's right on her website, but it is 442. I'll put it up on the screen here. So I purchased 4 charts, and these are all very different. I try to stay with very different ones that I really, really liked, but I didn't want a whole lot of the same artist, because I do tend to, as you saw, I have 2 Jennifer Taylors, I have 2 from StitchingMoonDesigns, I have, I don't know, but I do like, I'm stitching my second Megan Majewski, so I do tend to go back to artists that I really like and see if there's another one when I'm ready to start one. So these are, I'm going to look at my notes. These are the ones that I purchased. This first one is Outlander. It's by Vera Adzer, A-D-Z-E-R. It measures 252 by 360. This next one is Aussie. It's by Gus Vink, and it measures 290 by 360. This next one is The Librarian, and this is unlike anything else I've ever stitched. This is by Kate Fedora, and it measures 270 by 360. And finally, I purchased Wolf Spirit by Sheena Pike. It measures 432 by 540. Now, I don't know if anyone else is charting Sheena Pike. Heaven and Earth used to, and when they stopped charting it, I know Thread Geeks, God, I know Thread Geeks started to chart them, but that's only been for a few months, and now she's getting rid of all of them. So if you liked Sheena Pike's dragons, the Birthstone dragons, if you really wanted those at all, I would suggest you take a look now, because I don't know who else, unless you can reach out to one of your favorite charters and ask them if they will pick them back up. Okay, so now November plans. November plans, we can start with the focus pieces. I will try to finish Brothers, and I will continue working on Only the Lonely. Those are my focus pieces for this year. But my Flosstube challenge for November, I'm going to call Flosstube Wow. And I'm combining 2 challenges, I guess you would call them. I'm combining my Flosstube challenge with I think it's NOVWOW. So it's November Wow. And what Wow is, it was started by Carla, who is Stitch Me Sane. And she's doing all these women she finds strong, and she wants to have an entire wall of women. So Wow, wall of women, of strong women. And she has daughters, and I think that really lends itself nicely that she stitches strong women. So she, Carla, and Kaylee in November stitch Only Women. And I thought, that'd be a great idea, because my one woman that I wanted to get a lot of progress on has not been called while spinning a wheel. So these, I've taken my wheel from 11, which were 10 of my full coverage pieces that are going into next year that had not reached their goal, plus the Santa that I showed you earlier. I'm now putting those away, and these will be the ones that when a floss tuber that is on my list puts up a video, I will spin from one of these 6. So instead of 11, I'm down to 6 for the month of November. And I'm going to put a picture, even if I've shown it to you earlier, I'm going to put a picture on the screen of what it is. Now, my definition of a strong woman is not necessarily going to be reflected in these pieces, in all of them. It's just going to be women. So the first one is Broken Wings. As I said, this is artwork by Jenka Latikov. No, this one's by Enys Guerrero. Sorry. And speaking of which, this one and Brothers are both from Thread Geeks. So if you like those pieces, they're being retired. So Broken Wings is on my wheel. Children of the Forest. Now, yes, she's a tree, but to me that's a female. And so that is going to be on my wheel. This is Children of the Forest is by Emily Fiegenschuh. I'm not sure if I'm butchering the last name. Charted by UnconventionalXStitch. By Starlight, this is my version of it, cropped. And this one, as I said, is by Deanna Bach Art, charted by UnconventionalXStitch. And then we have Strength. This is the one I wanted to put a lot more work into this year. She, to me, represents strength, a very strong woman, very independent, very comfortable in her own skin. But she hasn't come out in a while, and she's the one I plan to finish next year. So this is artwork by Nicolette Payne. She painted this based on a photo shoot she saw, and way back I did link to the photo shoot that she found on Instagram. I don't have time to do it this week, but at some point I'll pull that back out and see if they still have their account on Instagram for you. And then Stone Expression. Again, this is by Guiseppi Miconi, charted by StitchingMoonDesigns. And finally, a fan favorite, Death in the Garden, artwork by Megan Majewski, and charted by UnconventionalXStitch. So that's what will be on my wheel moving forward for the month of November. So I will have Brothers, Only the Lonely, and then these 6 pieces will hopefully come out and be seen when I see you next. I am doing, so today, I didn't even say, today is Halloween. It's October 31st. I'm doing this a day early because tomorrow is my 5-year anniversary on Flosstube. I recorded and put my first video up on November 1st, 2020. And there are a lot of reasons I did. One was that during COVID, FLOSSTUBERS kept me sane. It was nice to watch Flosstube, excuse me, itchy nose, and see a stitcher and not feel completely alone. But as I watched Flosstube, I realized that a lot of what I stitched wasn't being seen on Flosstube. So I started my channel, and I also started for record keeping, because while I was watching a lot of Flosstubers, I started seeing people stitching things that I stitched years ago. And I've been stitching for just over 30 years. And it brought me to the, wow, I wonder where that is now. A lot of what I've stitched over the years have been gifts, so I don't know if the person still has them. My way of looking at a gift is, if you want it, I will gift it to you. And then, when it doesn't serve you, pass it on. I don't ever want someone to feel guilty if they want to pass on something that I gifted to them. So I thought I would have a great way of keeping track of what I worked on and what I finished by keeping everything on Flosstube, keeping it right here for you. So I'm going to, depending on, I have a sleepover party planned tonight. And for many of you who don't know, I have an 11-year-old grandson who gets so excited and can't wait to have sleepovers. And I got a call this morning saying, can I sleep over tonight? So depending on what time his father has to pick him up, I might still be able to get this video done tomorrow. but I'm going to do a 5-year anniversary video where I show 5 years of finishes. So it'll be fun for me. I've already started going back and organizing them. I do have a notebook that I've kind of kept a list of what I finished. So at least I know what I finished, but now I have to pull them all together so I can record it for you. But hopefully that will go up sometime this weekend. And then I think I will throw in a little giveaway in there. So I hope you look forward to that. Those of you who know, you can see these little strip things on my wall. Those of you who've been here a while, you know that wall, I had a shelf and I would change it out with cross stitch pieces. I had my Halloween pieces up there and I didn't think, and I had on this end, I had a framed piece. Turned out to be a little heavier than the shelf liked. We're not allowed to put nails in the wall, and so I was using 3M command strips. That's what these are. I can't. Okay, so that's what those strips are on the wall. I have to take them down. Anyway, the other day I heard this crash, and while the shelf was still there, it had tipped enough that my framed Halloween piece had hit the floor, and the frame is all kind of, it's all intact, but the frame's scratched up. I'm going to have to touch it up. So I have a piece that will go up here, but because I'm going to actually put it on the wall, I'm going to show it to you in my video for my 5-year finishes, because it was a piece I finished early on in my Flosstube journey. So with that, I have to put all this away now, and I will see you soon. I will be back this weekend, but I will also be back on the 15th. In the meantime, you can see I'm wearing a heavy sweater. I'm heading out here in a little bit. So in the meantime, you stay warm. I'm going to try to stay warm, and I will see you soon.